Hi guys, Lindsay here with Storybook Family Farm. So I don't know if it's just us or if it's this house or what it is. I have no idea. Maybe it's just the year. I don't know. Because I don't really have much time to talk with other people, and most people would think I was crazy if I was going to talk about this. So well, I'll just put it on the internet so everybody can judge me anyways. Um, Sometimes that's easier, I suppose. But anyways, so it seems really bizarre to me, but like it seems almost like time is moving differently this year. Um, I know that that's completely lunatic to really talk about and discuss, but like maybe it's just because we're so busy. I don't really know, but like it keeps feeling like things have been so long since we've done different things when in reality it's only been like a few days. Um, and I don't I don't know. Maybe I won't even post this. I'm not really sure. This is kind of a weird topic to talk about. But like today we went down to a different like homestead festival type of thing that we had seen when we went last week to the homestead rendezvous. We had accidentally took a detour and seen signs for this event. So it was a pay for type of thing. So we signed up, we paid for it, so that way we could go. It was a huge waste of money and a waste of our time. It was nothing like we thought it was going to be. The other event last week was way better. But the point I'm trying to make is when we were driving down there, because it was right by where the other event was last week, I turned to Tracy and I was like, it doesn't feel like it was just 6 days ago that we traveled this road. Like it feels like it was months ago. And she's like, yeah, it does. It's weird because we were literally just here, but it feels like it's been, a super duper long time since we had traveled down this road and had gone in this area. And so like that's something that I've noticed since we've had this home, and I don't know if it's some sort of weird metaphysical crazy debacle with this house or if it's just us and how busy we are in our lives, but that's something that keeps happening. Like the whole time that we've had this place, I've jokingly said that time moves differently here. Like while you're actively working, it seems like you're just scrambling trying to get stuff done. But then when you look back on the previous day, it feels like it was like 3 days ago. Like everything just feels like it's like topsy-turvy, twist upside down as to how time works here. And it's very bizarre. Like it's trippy. Uh, like we'll say, oh yeah, the other day, and then realize that was at breakfast. And so like, as strange as that sounds, maybe it's just because we're doing so many things. I'm not really sure. But like, my whole like sense of time and days has just gone right out the window. And it could even be partially too because Tracy's not working now, so we don't have that Monday through Friday thing that we got to get up at 4:30 in the morning for. But I don't even know. Like it's very strange how things have been going. But it seems like we're just constantly running. But then when we look back, it's like, oh my god, like this has only been 2 months. Like it's just everything just seems very distorted since we've been here, and it's trippy. Like we had thought that it would take us probably close to a month to get the house good enough that we could move ourselves in here and also get everything set up for the animals, so that way we could safely move all of the animals here. And we were moved in, like staying the night with the animals and everything, and that's with having to replumb the whole house and do a gazillion other things within a week and a half of buying it. And it felt like we had been working on it for like a month. It is trippy how it seems to work here. Or how this year's been, or I don't even know what to attribute it to. But yeah, like it's really weird to like stop and think of, oh well, it's been 1 day, 2 days, 3 hours, different stuff like that. But it's just, I don't know. I've had it before, like when I worked midnight shift, where like my days would get all screwed up like that, but not like it is here. So it's kind of weird. But anyways, so yesterday we were working on getting a bunch of stuff done to get it ready for the new farmers market that we just recently added 6 days ago to our rotation. So we're going to be down in Jewett, Ohio, to do a new market there as vendors, and that starts on this Sunday. So we were mentally preparing for that we'd have to have all of this stuff done before June 17th when the Canton Farmers Market starts. But then, last Saturday we found out about the one in Jewett, and we thought, well, we don't have nothing else going on Sundays. Like, we should give it a go. And so we've been working kind of at warp speed to try to get everything squared away for that. And you might be thinking, well, gee, what's there to get squared away? You bake bread. But we don't just do bread. Like, we also sell plants. Like, over here are some of the things that we will end up selling. These are blackberry plants here. I dug up some blackberry plants, some black raspberry plants, some peppermint that's growing here. And we hope to also be able to dig up this evening some elderberry plants, so I can take some of that stuff to the market to sell besides just selling bread. If you know me from the Canton market, you don't know me as a produce vendor at all. You only know me for the bread. But ironically, we signed up to be produce vendors last year, and basically everything that could go wrong went wrong, and we leaned back on the bread. That was our backup plan. And now this year it's well, the bread did great, so we're just going to keep on doing that. But so there's a lot that we have to get done. And today, I made up all the dough today because it has to sit overnight and then get refrigerated. And it's a big process. But anyways, so as I was making it up today, it hit me that just not that long ago, I was making bread for the other farmers market, and I was just dreaming about living in the reality that we're living in right now, and being able to bake bread in an actual kitchen with a real oven to be able to sell it. Once we journeyed down into the camper plan, we realized that we could have done a lot more at our house in town, and it made us really trip out and question, was selling our house the right decision? We could have still done all of this that we're doing now when we were living in the camper in town, because it turned out that I was going to end up being a main bread baker, was going to be my main thing, my main gig. And then it ended up, we didn't need acres of land to do the bread. And then we traveled down that road for a long time, and then eventually, our dreams manifested and came into fruition completely, and beautiful things transpired, and now we're here following our dreams further. But sorry, I had to get away from the goats. Lucky seen me, now he's just screaming for me, so now I gotta basically hide from the goats, that way I can hear myself think. But so now that we're here, it's kind of trippy because I don't know, I'm somebody that carries a lot of stress and anxiety with me, about a lot of big decisions and a lot of silly stuff. I get really worked up about and stressed out about, and it weighs heavily on me. And now that we're here, I in the past week have started panicking because we reached what it was that we were reaching so hard to get and reaching for so long to get. We were trying to move and have this dream come to fruition for almost 4 years, that we were just searching and striving and growing and reaching towards and pursuing it. And now that we have it, it's kind of weird. My whole life when I was little, I always wanted to get goats. And then the moment that we got goats, I was like, this doesn't seem like any big deal. It's just a little bloop on the radar of, big major life events. It was the same thing when I got married. I know that's probably going to sound terrible, but it wasn't anything earth shattering. It was something that I always wanted. From the moment I met Tracy, I knew that I wanted to marry her, and I told her that, and we were barely even friends, and it kind of tripped her out. But turns out I knew what I was talking about. But so it even that though, even those big things just felt like a bloop on the radar. They were meant to happen, so it really wasn't no big deal and stuff. But because we've been here for a little while now, and our whole reality for so much of our energy and our intentions were put into making this whole thing happen and pursuing these dreams and this goal and this end game, this final result. Now that we've achieved it, it feels weird. Everybody thinks that we should just be giddy and over the moon, but that's not our go-to. My go-to is when I'm really excited about something, I actually kind of shut down, to process it. I'm in my brain is in shock. When we got this house, I was super excited for 5 minutes, and I was oh my god, it happened. This is real. and stuff. And it just like hit me, like the magnitude of it just like made me astounded and lost for words. And that's like, I don't know. It's kind of like the feeling that I have right now is kind of like when you've been watching a TV series for a long time and like binge watching season upon season upon season upon season upon season. And then you watch the final episode and then it's done. And you're like, oh, well, now what? You know, it just kind of like hits you funny. I don't know if that happens to other people or not, but it happens to me and it happens to Tracy. So I just assume that it happens to other people because she's another person, even though we're basically one and the same. But like that's the reality that I've been living in right now is like still toiling away at doing all of these things, but then also like low key behind the scenes, like absolutely terrifyingly panicking that maybe this isn't our forever home because, well, it feels like a blip on the radar for us, for our lives. And like, I even talked to my grandma yesterday. She had invited me to come out where she was at. She doesn't live locally to me. She lives a couple hours away, and she was only like 45 minutes away instead of 2 hours away. So, you know, she asked me to basically quit working my ass off to go spend some time with her and stuff. So I did. I was like, we worked hard enough. We can work hard later. We can do it all tomorrow. I can lose sleep another time. I want to go see my grandma. So we stopped what we were doing to go spend time with my grandma, and I was just hanging out with her, and I was talking to her about how it just, you know, maybe we made the wrong choice. Maybe this isn't our forever. And I like full blown was like panicking because like different places that we thought were our forever home after 4 years of living there, it no longer was what we wanted. You know, when we lived in town, it was more than that we realized that we wanted more space, that we wanted more land and everything. But our place before that, we had an acre of land. So it was like weird. It was a weird paradoxy of having to move and just stuff with Tracy's work. So it was just a weird situation. You know, but you know, I told her, I said, you know, what if this isn't forever? What if this isn't enough? You know, what if 2 acres isn't enough? Like, what if this isn't our forever home like we had thought it was? And she like basically explained to me the real reasons as to why we moved out of our house in town, that it wasn't like we had to move. It was that we decided to move so we could chase after this reality, this particular thing that we were going after. It wasn't that, you know, we made a wrong choice living there. It was that we learned all of the lessons that we were meant to. We grew all that we could grow, you know, ourselves and garden and animals illegally and all that stuff. And now we're at a place that is everything that we've been dreaming of. And she basically explained to me that you know, what I took away from it. She didn't say it in these words, but is what she alluded to, and that's what my brain and stuff basically came up with and understood, was that it was our choice to leave the place in town. You know, we could have continued to homestead there for the rest of our lives if we wanted to. You know, there was enough land that we could, you know, have the gardens, and we had some fruit trees and, you know, berry bushes and things. Like, we were producing a lot there. And we could have said that was enough, but it was our desire in our hearts to say, no, we need more. We need the goats. I want the goats. I've wanted them my whole life. I can't stop until I get the goats. And now that we've been on this journey, we've, you know, obviously got the goats. You've seen Lucky and stuff. You know, now that we've been on this journey, we've also tried out pigs, because we had thought while we were searching for land that we would need, you know, 5 acres or something. You know, we knew that an acre would be the bare minimum that we would need in terms of land, just because we knew how big an acre was from previously having one. But so we knew that we needed at least like an acre of land to do what we wanted to do. And we had always in the back of our mind thought, well, we also want to have pigs. We want to raise our own pork because we love pork. Well, then we got pigs on Craigslist for really super cheap. And so we tried it out while we still lived in the camper. And we hated it. We absolutely hated it. Like, I was so glad when we decided that enough was enough and we were just going to butcher them, because I didn't like it. We had them for 2 weeks. Like, they were full grown when we got them and stuff. So they were, you know, only $25 a piece. Like, it was like the deal of a lifetime. So we couldn't pass it up. We knew that even if we hated it and stuff, it was $25 for a whole pig. Like, that's a good deal. That's a lot of meat for very cheap. So we decided that we were turning around. We didn't want to go down that path any further. And so then at that point, we realized that we didn't need, 5 acres or anything. We just needed enough for, a few goats and the chickens and whatnot. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is, like, even knowing all of that, even though there's 2 acres here and only like half of it is usable for like gardening and stuff, that because the rest of it's wooded and stuff, I still keep like panicking. Like, as stupid as that is, I keep panicking, going, oh, what if this isn't forever? What if, every place that we've lived at, as soon as I build a greenhouse, we move. Like, a couple months after I build it or whatever, or within the next year of me building a greenhouse, we move. And I told my grandma, I said, what do I do? Like, I want to build a greenhouse, but I'm afraid that it's going to be like the same thing, that I'm going to build this really extravagant, nice, beautiful greenhouse with all these repurposed materials and older windows and doing all this stuff. What if then it just results in us moving faster and stuff? And she's like, you don't have to. You can choose that enough is enough. And she, it's her family lineage that has the majority of the agricultural background that I, have spoken of, my ancestors being farmers and whatnot. She basically reminded me that even when my great-grandparents had, over 100 acres of land, they still didn't do everything. Like, they didn't do 100% of everything. And, like, in the world that we live in right now, there's such a big, like, pressure to, if you're going to homestead, that you have to do it all. And, like, I don't really want to have cows. I don't want that. I don't want to ever do pigs again, and so it makes you feel kind of stigmatized, like if you watch other YouTubers and stuff, because you're like, well, I'm not a real homesteader until I get a cow, or I'm not a real homesteader until I do pigs, or anything like that. And it kind of messes up your mind and stuff, to basically tell yourself that you're allowed to say you don't like something. But in that same regard, like with this house and everything, it scares me. Big commitments like this scare me. Big purchases, they scare me. And I don't understand why. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it didn't scare me to get married. It doesn't scare me to do other stuff, but like to buy a car scares me. It doesn't scare me to buy bees, which we're buying some soon. It doesn't scare me to do animals. It doesn't scare me to do pretty much anything, to walk anywhere. But bracing myself for the what ifs is really, really hard. Like the what if this isn't our forever home, like that has been something that has me shaken so hard to the core, because like we've already homesteaded temporarily in different places. Like when we were living in town, we knew it was temporary. Like we were like, we have no idea how long we're going to be stuck here. Like that's how it felt, like we were actually stuck there. We're like, we don't know how long we're going to be stuck here, but we might as well just grow as if we're never going to leave, because what if something happens that makes it so we can't ever leave and stuff, so we can't ever move. I have joint issues and stuff. There was the very real possibility that we would not be able to get on acreage before I couldn't handle doing this lifestyle anymore. And that was something that filled me with panic. But now that we're here, now that everything is going right for us, it makes me panic, because basically every time in our lives that everything has gone right for us, it's like bombs just get dropped on our laps. And, there's just, there's a lot more going on in our lives than like my little mind can handle right now. Because everything is like basically falling into place for us, and I have to try to cope with the fact that it's not necessarily falling into place just so it can fall apart. And that was essentially what my grandma was telling me yesterday. And like, I am a legitimate workaholic. Like I work constantly. I like being busy. I like having things to do. And I almost teared up when I was telling her. I was like, Grandma, I'm scared to get the house done. And she's like, why? She's like, that makes no sense. I was like, well, then I run out of projects. Then what do I do? And she was like, oh my God, Lindsay. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. Then what do I do? What do I do when all the work is done here? Because like, we're almost done with cleaning the majority of outside up. I'm like, we don't have that much stuff that's been neglected left and stuff. Like, we're going to get it all done soon and stuff. We're going to basically pour love back into a lot of stuff here soon. And she's like, Lindsay, you farm, like, you'll never be done. And I'm like, no, literally, like, I'm only going to paint the kitchen so many times. Like, I'm only going to do this so many times. Like, I'm only going to clean the house. The outside, you know, there's eventually the trash piles will be gone. And she's like, but you're never going to be done. She's like, you'll always find something else to fill the void, to fill the time. She's like, look at how many hobbies you have. Look at how many things you're doing constantly. She's like, that's just who you are. You'll always find something. And I'm just like, well, I guess so. But to wrap this up, because I don't want this to be like an hour-long me rambling video that nobody's going to watch. Like, it's just, we're in a really weird place now. Like, besides the time moving wonky here, like, it's kind of trippy to everything that we ever wanted when we still lived in town and stuff was to get on acreage, make money from our farm, and eventually for Tracy to be home from work, that I could, you know, do enough with farming, with her help and stuff, and with the homestead and everything, that she could stay at home like I am and make money staying at home like I am, and just doing this as our whole lives. And now we actually have that right now. Like, she's actively looking for another job, and she, you know, essentially secured a job, but they're like, I don't know, they're taking forever about if they're gonna, when she's gonna start, and they're not calling her back. And it's a weird paradoxy, because it's like everything that we've wanted, we technically have right now, but it's up to us if we want to like jump into all of it. And there's just so many stressors and so many things weighing on us that it has me like terrified. Even though everything's going, you know, kind of how we always hoped that it would, just not in the order that we wanted it to be. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know if anybody else has the mental anguish that I go through. I'm, you know, a very bad overthinker about everything. And then I also have insomnia on top of that, and anxiety. So it's like, like with everything, it's like, I don't know, everything stresses me out, I suppose. That's why I garden, so that way I have therapy in the dirt. You know, everything seems to go right when you have your hands in the dirt, but still a lot. There's a lot on us. So I'll end this here, because I could probably just ramble on to, you know, my invisible friend on the camera, and, you know, pour my heart and soul out into that, and then somebody's gonna think I'm a super total weirdo. But yeah, so if you guys have ever, like, I don't even know how to end this. So please give this video a thumbs up. Comment if you have any words of wisdom for me. If you really want to, you can share it on your social media, but this is kind of a weird topic. And most importantly, please subscribe to help support us and, you know, my weirdness. So yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.